Oh, mate.
It's very divisional, very divisive, this.
Yeah, stay over that side of the... That's your side, mate. No, no.
What are you going to do about it?
Oh, what are you doing?
COVID, you can't touch me.
Oh.
Buttons. I like pushing buttons.
Do you want to push this button?
No thanks. That button stinks.
Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm with my good friend Chris from 44 Teeth. For those of you that don't know Chris, he runs a fantastic channel along with Al, who's actually behind the camera. Chris and I have been talking about this video for a while. Basically, I'll let Chris explain why he has that.
And I borrowed the X5M you had.
Yes.
And I was looking for, I wanted a fast SUV because I live out in the middle of nowhere. Really enjoyed the car, but it was a bit pricey. So then I started looking around and thought, well, actually, you know, what's the difference? And then went out on a test ride on that and went, well, for my money, the fact I've saved considerable amount of money on that car, for example, it wasn't worth it. So
in terms of saving a considerable amount of money, we're talking 90 grand difference between those two. How much? £130,000 on the road.
With those options?
As it stands,
wow.
Yeah. And your one?
I bought that for 41,000 with 30,000 miles on it from Bury Heathrow, your best mate.
Yep. Dealer
warranties and all that stuff, nothing to worry about, and there's no creaks or rattles as you'll hear. It's perfect.
Yeah, and I think that's the important thing. It's an approved car, so it has warranty, breakdown cover, etc.
There's a V8 in there. I think it's a V8.
Yeah. So 4.4 litre V8 twin turbo, 575 horsepower, 750 newton meters of torque. This has got the same 4.4 litre V8 twin turbo, but this has 625 horsepower, so an extra 50 horsepower, but the same torque figure. I'm guessing that's probably gearbox limited, 750 newton meters, because they both have the ZF 8-speed gearbox. Obviously both X-drive, so four-wheel drive. In terms of acceleration figures, well, this one has a claim 0 to 62 figure of 3.8 seconds, and your one is 4.2. So on paper, it's a little bit slower, but it's also about 50 kilos lighter, and we both weigh about the same with the same height.
Same height.
Nice trainers, by the way, mate.
Thanks, mate. Yeah. Cool. I wore them brand new for you today.
Nice. Yeah.
Just on
At that point, you meant to say, yeah. Nice
oh, yeah, yours are all right as well. Sorry.
Yeah. We're going to jump in Chris's car. I think I'll jump behind the wheel. We'll have a quick drive of that on the public road. Then we'll jump into this one, do the same thing. Then we'll come back to here and obviously do what everyone is waiting for. Firing them down the runway. We'll do some acceleration, side-by-side stuff, braking tests. You know, you can imagine what we're going to do. So, yeah, I'll see you in your car, mate.
Be careful with it.
Be careful with
it.
it.
We're not allowed to touch.
Oh.
That's what this divider is.
Oh, okay.
Hang on, I'll catch it.
Just want to say a big shout out and thanks to BOTB for sponsoring this particular video. BOTB are the Dream Car Competition company who now give away 2 cars every single week in their Dream Car and Midweek Car Competition. They have 150 cars to choose from, including 20 BMWs. In fact, you can buy tickets for the new M3, like I have coming, for less than £3 a ticket. All cars come with a staggering £50,000 in their boot too. You need to be 17 years and older to enter the competition. There's a link in the description below and in the pinned comments, so head over and see if you can win yourself a dream car. Okay, so here we are. We've been in it for a few hundred meters. First thing to talk about, driving positions, fantastic. To me, it feels every bit as good as the new one, and it feels very BMW. We're both very similar height, 6'4". Yep. 6'4". Yeah. Are you 6'4"?
Yeah.
He's in another one.
We're not allowed to do that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The other thing that I've noticed straight away as I pull out of this junction is the steering feels fantastic. I think BMW over the last, let's say, 3, 4, 5 years, so the generation effectively after this car, I guess, is they've put too much weight into the steering to compensate, because I think they think people assume a sporty car or steering should be really heavy, but to me that just takes away any feel whatsoever.
Agreed.
Ride quality, this is a shocking bit of road, and the ride quality is very good. We're in the softest setting here. We're in comfort, everything.
Comfort.
Old man mode, basically.
Yeah.
But that's what that's the thing. That's why you've got this car. You've got this car to be fun, but also to be comfortable to waft around.
Yeah, I mean, I live nowhere near here, but on roads like this, I've got to have the ground clearance because some arsehole will come the other way and not want to get off the curb. So my 911 is like an inch off the ground. It's ridiculous, and you smash all your wishbones off dropping off the edge. So that's why I want it. I want the comfort. I want the ride height.
And I have to say, aside from the comfort, also this car, what is it? 5 years old now?
It's 5 years old, yeah.
It's done 33,000 miles, but the important thing for me is there's no creaks or noises in the cabin. I mean, you might have heard some in the time you've owned it, but not like the new one. I can hear a couple, and in my head I'm like, oh, what's that going to sound like 2 or 3 years down the track? Yeah. But actually, okay, it hasn't. That's not a massive amount of miles, but still, it's something so big, so fast, and so top heavy. There's not many creaks and rattles.
No, I feel the same. There is one in the boot, but
have you still got that person locked up in? Yeah, they're still tapping away, are they?
Well, they might be dead now because it stopped. It feels very quality to me, this.
Oh, mate.
And it feels. I mean, I had an X6M on loan.
Yep.
So I'm
of the new shape.
Of the new shape.
Yeah, the same as.
So I am quite familiar with it, but I kind of prefer this cabin, to be fair.
I love all the extended leather. Now this car is very well optioned. In fact, it's very similar to the new one that I've got. It's got pretty much everything you'd imagine. And I'm not actually sitting here going, oh, I'm missing that. We've got the head-up display, which is very similar to the new one. We've got, I think it's iDrive 6 in this particular car, which is actually one of my favourites. I think the new one's a bit overcomplicated. We've got some lovely analog dials, which I absolutely love in seeing in a fairly modern car, you know. Are you like that with motorbikes as well, or do you just like?
I am now. I think the older I get, the more of an experience I want, rather than just that's the latest technology and isn't it brilliant? Like the syntheticness of new vehicles, be it cars and motorbikes, is doing my head in.
Okay, so now I've put it into M2 and I've got manual, so I'm using the paddles. I've got a lovely M head-up display there, and I can instantly feel that the whole car's a little bit more taut and sort of ready to... Oh! Okay.
Now that is what's missing about the new one, isn't it?
Isn't it funny? Isn't it childish? But
it's the lift-off overrun as well. You just sort of go for a little stab, and you pull your foot off, and then it's just...
We don't know which car is quicker now. On paper, the new one appears to be a couple of tenths quicker. Yeah. But isn't it funny that the extra sound in this sound gives you speed, doesn't it? And that's why I think Teslas and all those cars, electric cars that are impressively fast, they lack the soul and they lack the sound. So therefore, they seem to lose a bit of excitement, right?
Yeah, but it's part of the experience. Track as much either. Notice that?
That's something else. Yeah, 100%. In fact, thanks for pointing that out. Like if I put my foot down in that other car now and took my hands off the wheel, I would be pretty scared that would end up. Well, probably knowing our luck, would end up in one of these lampposts as opposed to the bushes. But yeah, that's something where the car just feels natural wherever you are on this horrible bit of tarmac, which is really sort of concave or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Concave. Concave. Oh, we get a bit of extra sound.
You get a bit of extra noise without the wind noise.
Oh, mate, it's fantastic. The ride quality is better without a doubt. Like you said, probably tyre related as well. We've got a bit of tyre sidewall. But I tell you what that translates to in the UK, and people just don't understand this. They don't get it. The new M3 and M4 front wheels are smaller than the last generation. The reason is you've got a better ride quality, the car tracks better, and although it might aesthetically not look as good, unfortunately a good ride quality translates to good handling. As you know, on a motorbike, if you're going through a corner in a motorbike and it's skipping all over the surface,
yeah, horrible.
You've got nose, you can't go through there with any pace. Whereas this, wow. Mate, this is fantastic. Well, I'm massively impressed with this car, and I'm not just saying it. I'd be very honest about, you know, anything you own, and I usually am, sometimes too honest, and vice versa. But I have to say, I'm really impressed with this car. I think it feels older in here, undoubtedly it does a bit, but everything's here that I want. Everything works, and in fact some of this is less complicated than the newer car.
Buttons.
Buttons.
It's got buttons. I like pushing buttons.
Do you want to push this button?
No thanks. That button stinks.
Well, let's jump in the newer car.
Okay.
See what that's like, and then, well, we'll do the bit that everyone's waiting for.
What? The fact that this has got a sunglasses holder up there?
Oh, look at that! Okay, here we are in the newer car.
Already feels really hard from where I'm sitting.
The suspension?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I'm not that hard over it, to be fair.
It literally, even though we're in the softer suspension, we're in comfort. Just feel how the car's moving around a lot more as well.
I mean, this is the competition though, isn't it? Which you can only get in the UK, whereas that one was just... Why you need another level of M car is beyond me, to be honest. But, you know, this obviously is set up even more to be even more aggressive and annoying. I
think it's, well, we're obsessed with power figures and aesthetics. So, as you talked about earlier on, this car's got bigger wheels than the normal X5M would that you can get in Germany. So over here it probably would sell better anyway, but it's madness when you think about it. And in fact the X6M is stiffer again, as I've noticed having this car for a week. Right. The X6M was horrible down like a road like this. And if you pushed it harder, it wanted to just throw you off everywhere.
Well, I had that exact press car.
You did, yeah.
And I completely agree, yeah.
I mean, it was fun, but for the wrong reasons.
It was scary though.
yeah, scary fun. The steering's nice, and it's a lovely steering wheel.
It does feel like it turns in fast.
It does. The front end's I think it's got a more negative camber, which is great when you're pushing it like through bends or on a circuit. Not that you're going to take one of these out on a circuit, but the negative of having negative camber on the road is that tram lining we're talking about.
Yeah.
But interior wise, I mean, to be fair, I feel like I'm sitting in a very similar place. I've got great visibility, which we did in your car. We're a great driving position. I do prefer the seats a bit more in this one over yours.
Well, you've got head. You can raise the
headrest a bit, yeah.
A bit more, can't you?
And they're maybe a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more supportive, but not like night and day.
Yeah, but then mine's had 30,000 miles of sag on it.
Yes.
These are brand new.
That's true.
I do like the leather though.
This trim, I'm not mad on the trim.
I hate this trim, and I really dislike that.
Yes.
It's such a it's like
something at IKEA. It's like something at IKEA.
Worse, because it doesn't really.
And
there's no sunglasses holder.
I mean, come on.
And if you can see this in the camera, the bar for the pan roof on my one, we get the benefit being the driver.
Yep.
Because it's a much bigger space over the top.
Yes.
But this one is just for the passengers.
Yeah.
Which is a bit
not ideal.
This is Alcantara, which is nice.
Yeah, the Alcantara headlining is very nice. Okay, so we're now in my M1 preset, which is everything ramped up, except suspension is in Sport as opposed to Sport Plus. Arguably, it only needs to be in comfort because this car's already too stiff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
looking at your head.
I'm definitely flopping around. Dressing to the right.
Now, there's no denying that this car is fast, and it does things on the road that just defy its size. And it sounds good, but a lot of that is fake sound being piped around the cabin. It's fairly authentic sounding, but once you know it's fake, it kind of does bug you a little bit. And most importantly is, when you come off the throttle, you don't get your... But yeah, it feels good, but you can just feel like the minute you start pushing, it does get a little bit uneasy and feels like it really does want to throw you into
it feels too big, even though it's probably not that much bigger than the older one. It just feels too big and too disconnect ferry-like.
Yeah, and you can feel that from the passenger seat, can't you? Well, it's fast, isn't it?
It is fast. It's granted it's very, very fast, but where's the theatre?
Yes, and that's what I've found in the time that I've had this car for a week, and in fact with that X6M, is I never ended up driving it that particularly fast because it wasn't that exciting, and therefore I ended up treating it like an X5 30D. And then I thought to myself, and this is the whole, you know, scenario that you had before you bought your one, but I think your one somehow actually manages to cover both bases. Something maybe as simple as the sound that it puts out as well just adds that drama when you are having a bit of fun, whereas this one, no doubt it's capable, but this feels horrible right now. Like, yeah, right, yeah. Like, we can make it a bit stiffer if you really want. Into Sport Plus now. Now we're in Sport Plus, okay? You can literally feel every stone and every bit of pebble and... it's like... I think this feels more dangerous than my one. I don't know why. It just feels 100%. Yeah, because you knew where you were. There's more steering feel for me, at least. But also, it just. But I can feel that as a passenger. That you're the constant corrections. Constantly. Yeah. You don't want to let go of this wheel at any point when you're in a sort of M mode, if you like, because it really feels like it just wants to get out of your hands. And anyway, right, the bit that you've all been waiting for. Let's go and see which car is faster down the runway. Okay guys, here we are on the runway, the bit that you've all been waiting for. It's actually almost half a mile to the cones that we'd laid out, so we're probably going to be doing about 135, 140 miles an hour. We've got Mr. Chris Bound on Grumble over there, and we've actually got Alistair Fagan in front of us giving us the starter orders. You might recognise him from 44 Teeth, the same channel that Chris is on, so absolute legends, and really happy to have him starting us, even though he looks a bit cold out there in his shorts and his hoodie on. Doesn't matter. I'm fully expecting it not to be as fast as that, but you know, I get to keep £90,000 in my pocket, which is quite a lot of money. That's the same as a 570S McLaren. That's a house. You know, it's a lot of money. So yes, I don't have heated cup holders. That's my biggest regret right now about not buying the new one. Well, I've got it. Chris jumped me a little bit there, but it doesn't matter because I'm reeling him in and I'm off. That's 120 miles an hour, it's 130 miles an hour, it's 140 miles an hour, 148 over the line. Okay mate, let's do a little rolling race on the way back, a little tester anyway. So third gear at 30 miles an hour. Okay, I'm in third gear now, I'm travelling at 29 miles an hour. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go! It's not bad. And that will do. You actually picked up better, which is what I kind of imagined in my head. It just seemed to pick up a bit better. There's nothing clogging that engine up. Yeah, that wasn't bad. Well, maybe if I sort the start out, maybe the next one will be a bit closer. That was actually all right. Oh, this is definitely quicker. Definitely faster. This is savage. There's 110 again. 120. It is pulling away though. Oh, that's 6-7 car lengths. 140. 148 again over the line. 148 miles an hour in something this, I mean, this is fast. Okay, now we're going to do an acceleration run in drive normal efficiency, the most dull mode ever. We're going to rely on the gearbox responding to us kicking down. So I'm going to count Chris down. He's in the same mode. 3, 2, 1, go! Oh! Oh! And there's 120 miles an hour. We better start slowing down. Well, that was interesting. That was interesting. There wasn't much in it initially, but this is just definitely a quicker car. Definitely a quicker car. Oh, Chris just got me on the line. Come on.
quite late.
Well, that was much better.
Okay, so I mean, as we suspected, I think that's pretty evident. Although it was pretty close, and quite frankly, I prefer to be, you know, 4 or 5 car lengths behind you and have 90 grand in my pocket.
Yeah, that 90 grand doesn't really buy you too much straight line performance, does it? That was a fair race, that one, I think.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think that was the best one yet. So,
okay guys, final test, the braking test. We're doing 80 miles an hour and we're going to hit the brakes hard when we get to the line. So here we go. That's 80 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour, and go.
oh, hey! I won something.
Chris, definitely you won that one, mate. I wouldn't say there's much in it. I'd say there's about 2 feet in it, but 2 or 3 feet, but a win is a win, mate. Fair play.
It's at least 6 foot. I don't know what you're looking at.
Guys, I really hope you've enjoyed this video today. I've certainly had a lot of fun making it with my good friend Chris. Remember to check out his channel, 44 Teeth and Bound on Grumble. I'll link them both in the description below. Let us know which car you prefer and which car you would put your money on, because obviously spending 40 grand on a 2016 X5M will leave you 90 grand in your pocket, which you could go out and buy a baseline 11, used 570S, whatever. So really interesting. Also remember to check out BOTB, the link is below and also in the pinned comment. Thanks so much for those guys sponsoring this video and allowing us to have some fun on the runway, because this sort of thing is not cheap, as I'm sure you can appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Until the next time, I'll see you then.